everyone, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 40 of Pro Wrestling's Top 50. I'm your host, Travis McNeil, and today we continue our countdown of the top 50 matches in Impact Wrestling history with match number 11 on our list, which is the NWA World Tag Team Championship match between the champions Team Canada of Bobby Roode and Eric Young, and the challengers America's Most Wanted of Chris Harris and James Storm from the TNA Final Resolution 2005 event held on January the 16th of 2005. I don't know if you can call this match a hidden gem, because I think it was well reviewed and well received at the time. I think Meltzer gave it like a 4.5 star rating, perhaps. Like it was up there. It was considered really good. But over the past 16 years, it's been forgotten about. This match is absolutely incredible. It is one of the best American tag team matches of this millennium, of the 2000s. It is everything that you would love about, a Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express, like peak 80s Southern American tag team style match. But it has, the 2005, upgrade of moves and things like that. The crowd in the Impact Zone is unbelievably hot. They are molten for this entire match. This match is an all-time, heel performance from Eric Young, who, again, is somebody that I kind of feel over the course of their career is a little bit underrated. He can do a lot of stuff. He never really got that TNA main event run or that WWE, shot until late in his career. But, at the time, this guy was so good. He could do comedy. He could do stoogey healing. He could be a menacing heel. He could be, a baby face that the crowd loved. He's a very, very underrated and underappreciated talent. And I feel like this is his career match. I love America's Most Wanted. I've talked about that already. I think Chris Harris and James Storm are unbelievable. They're a good heel team. They are an even better babyface team. And you put all of these elements together with a hot feud, a hot crowd, great combatants, a great story, a simple formula, all of these, fantastic big-time moves, all the drama. Scott D'Amore is a great puzzle piece here. He manages Team Canada, and he's so good at ringside, and you have an absolutely incredible, in my opinion, 5-star tag team match that, I hope is able to get a little bit more attention on it, with this video and me putting it over. So these guys have been feuding. We get a hot start where AMW jumps Team Canada on the ramp. Immediately goes to work. Scott D'Amore is so great, running away and screaming, from the brawl. He's just awesome. We get this huge brawl, and Eric Young gets a knot on his head that is so big. Like, think like taking like a pool ball, like, for like billiards, like shooting pool, and cut it in half and then put it on this man's head. And that's, the knot that he has on his head. It is disgusting. And it happens before they even get into the ring. They finally get into the ring, and Eric Young, again, so good, almost on the verge of tears with this big knot on his head, tries to bail and go back up the ramp. He wants nothing to do. He's cool losing the match by countout. America's Most Wanted chase him down, bring him back into the ring, and just continue to beat his ass. Bobby Roode tries to, make the save and gets immediately taken out, and it's so good. It's like this, 5-minute period of the baby faces running wild to the hot crowd and, getting their comeuppance that they, that Team Canada, has deserved, being these heels throughout this feud that these teams have had. And it's so great. They double hip toss Bobby Roode onto Eric Young. Then they do the same to Eric Young, but over the ropes onto Bobby Roode on the floor. The heels finally take over, which eventually is going to happen. Eric Young gets a cheap shot on one of them, and Bobby Roode hits a neck breaker, and they manage to get a heat sequence on James Storm. The crowd is so hot, trying to rally Storm to make the tag. There's a great spot where he hits an enziguri to Roode. He hits an enziguri kick to Young, who's standing on the ring apron. And Eric Young proceeds to hit a flare flop, like the Ric Flair falling flat on his face, off the ring apron to the floor, which was just amazing and completely nutty. He would actually top that later on in the year. He would do one from the second rope to the floor. That was even crazier. But this is just an absolute work of art, this spot this man did in this match. It looks like Storm's going to hit the tag. Bobby Roode manages to cut him off. Again, we get great continued heat. Roode makes, the classic heel mistake of the charge into the corner, gets the shoulder to the post. It allows Chris Harris to run wild with a hot tag. And again, I really liked their take on this because it would seem like the heels would keep going to cut off Harris, and he would turn whatever they were doing to cut him off into a new offensive maneuver. And he got to run wild again for a little bit, again, while the crowd is super hot. Eric Young manages to block the death sentence, which is AMW's finish. We get a Tower of Doom spot, which was the style at the time. It was 2005. So get the big Tower of Doom. James Storm hits a super kick on Robert Roode. It seems like it's going to be the finish, but Scott Zamore pulls the referee out. AMW again wastes no time falling into this, the tricks from Team Canada and D'Amore. They take their handcuffs, which is one of their signatures, and they handcuff Scott D'Amore to the trusses that are at ringside for the Ultimate X later on in the night. So D'Amore, he can't interfere. This leads to a run-in from Johnny Devine, who was also a member of Team Canada, and again, super good. AMW sees him coming, and they immediately give him the chase to, on the floor, and he ends up running, and it causes Chris Harris to run right into a big lariat from Bobby Roode. So again, no stupidity from the faces where they're not aware that these shenanigans are happening all around them. They're prepared for it. But again, they couldn't prepare for, Storm kind of popping out from behind the ring steps to hit that lariat. We get a great near fall. Johnny Devine hits James Storm in the back with a hockey stick, breaks the stick over his back, but it's only good for 2. Chris Harris manages to cut Johnny Devine off with a spine buster, which again takes him out of that. And we get a superb near fall where they reverse a Bobby Roode suplex into the powerplex, which was the tag team finishing of Triple X, who America's Most Wanted beat the month before in a steel cage match where the stipulation was the losers could never team again. So they actually won that match with the powerplex. They did it in tribute here. The crowd bought it as a legitimate finish, but it was only good for 2. Johnny Devine slides a steel chair in, and again, AMW is prepared for it. Chris Harris stops the chair dead in its tracks, but again falls victim to another Bobby Roode lariat, this time the northern lariat to the back of the head. It causes Harris to, basically fall face first onto the steel chair. And we think this is going to be the finish. We get a great near fall where Harris manages to get his foot on the rope. At this point, though, Johnny Devine is celebrating, right? He thinks, that was the finish, so he misses the foot on the rope. Because again, standard heel spot would be, heel manager or second would maybe knock that foot off the rope, but he misses it because he's celebrating. He makes that pivotal mistake, and I love mistakes in wrestling. That causes Eric Young to come over and basically, be screaming at Johnny, we didn't win. And he goes to grab Johnny Devine, and what does Johnny Devine do? Again, standard heel maneuver. He has a chair in his hands from that lariat earlier that he pulled out, so the referee was none the wiser. And he proceeds to, with no look, throw the chair back over his head because he thinks it's one of America's Most Wanted that is grabbing him. He hits Eric Young, blasts him in the head with a chair shot, which allows him to suffer a schoolboy roll-up, and that is enough for 3. Again, just, Team Canada, like I mentioned in the America's Most Wanted versus Triple X Steel Cage video, Team Canada always had this numbers game advantage. They would cheat, they would interfere, and that's how they would win. They got their comeuppance in this match, and it was actually the numbers game. Johnny Devine being that extra body at ringside that cost them the match. It allowed AMW to squeak out the victory, become the new NWA World Tag Team Champions once again, and like I said, one of the best American tag team matches of this era. It is so good. Please, please, please watch it on Impact Plus. You will not regret it. And if you're used to, Bobby Roode, how he is in the WWE, or Eric Young, how he was in Sanity and is now in TNA, if you don't know the legend that was the Wildcat Chris Harris, or you really don't appreciate James Storm for the legendary run he had in TNA, this match you can see all 4 at their absolute best and show just how talented they all are. So please check it out on Impact Plus. Subscribe to my channel here on YouTube. Follow on Instagram and Twitter at Wrestling50, and please join me again tomorrow as we continue to count down Pro Wrestling's Top 50. Top 50.